Hello, and welcome back to What is Cyrus reading this week? This is week 12 and 13, I think. Not 100% sure. Yeah, new figure, not a Marvel Legends figure. Review at the end as always. Alright, up first, we got Batman 66, Volume 2. This is a continuation of Batman 66. As always, it's solo story, so you don't need to go and read the previous one. But this one includes the Conqueror Bookworm, Queen of Cossacks. The Fiend is false. The Joker's layoff riot. King Tut barges in. The Butler did it. Zelda's Great Escape. Showdown with Shame. The Summer of Freeze. Cleopatra. And then, of course, the cover variant gallery. So, this one, as you can see, has a King Tut kind of influence, and Cleopatra's also there. I believe also, no, Zelda Makes Her Great Escape's a different one. So it has King Tut classic villain, Joker, of course. So if you like the classic show, you should come and you should read this one. I mean, the classic show is great because it's so campy and it follows that same exact moniker. So Batman 66, solid, grade 8 out of 10. Pick these up if you see them. I don't know how many there are. I mean, there's up to 6 at least. All right, next up, we got more of a series. We got New Superman 2 and 3. So let's start from 2. New Superman number 2. This involves Justice League of China being assembled, of course. But then it involves New Superman getting a trainer. Kong Keenan, the new Superman, he gets a trainer. But also Baxi, who is the Batman of China and the Wonder Woman of China. Well, Baxi is like fighting for his honor and the Batman School of China, which is where they trained him, and there's a bunch of people that could take his spot, and it's a long, complicated thing. Well, there's this mysterious villain there, Hyena, and who she is a twist. Second story is, which one's this with the second story? All right. So there's 3 stories I forgot. The first one's the training one with Baxi and Hyena. Then there's one where they go to America with Lex Luthor. You find out Kong's powers are by, I don't remember exactly what it's called, but it's like the S is this this hexagon, that's where his powers come from. And that's how he essentially gets all his powers, is he has to move the chi to different parts. So like his eyes is heat vision. If he moves it to his stomach, he's invulnerable. If he moves it to his feet, he's like can fly. So they does that. Then Lex Luthor invites him to America for a shortcut that could get him out of having to do all that and just get the powers then. And it's a door to the underworld. And you see what happens through there. Then the last story is you learn the Wonder Woman of China's history, as well as there's this great sorcerer who's also a turtle, and he gets infected with the Doomsday virus. So that happens. And do you recognize that character right there? That's Avery from the Flash Rebirth run, meaning she is now on the Justice League of China. She is the Flash of China. So yeah, new Superman. Didn't like the first one all that much. This one is great. I give it a solid 8 out of 10. Pick New Superman number 2 up. Speaking of, New Superman number 3. This one is the final volume of New Superman, and it involves continuation from the last one. So, spoilers for the last one. If you haven't read it, skip till I hold up the next book. But in New Superman number 2, there was Superman of China Prime. There was this mysterious villain who's the twin brother of Superman's mentor, the new Superman's mentor. He becomes Superman Prime becomes Emperor Superman because of the villain trainer. And then it turns out that the director of, I forgot what it is, the director of like the China's security team is Kong Keenan's mom. Yeah. So now that you know that, we can get to this one. So Emperor Superman. Big fight there, of course. You know, it's the first one's the Emperor Superman arc. Then the Suicide Squad comes in. You know, Harley Quinn, Deadshot, and I think Killer Croc's here. Not 100% sure, don't quote me on that. I just know for sure it's Harley Quinn, Deadshot. They come in, and they're tasked to take down Kong Keenan, new Superman. And then Kong Keenan is transported back into the past. And that is the final arc where he must fight these people. Fight like the past. But guess who comes through with the past? That's right. Ancient Japanese or Chinese demons. So they have to fight that. But they're invulnerable to everyone's powers except Kong Keenan's. So it's a big fight there. The Justice League of America gets involved along with the Justice League of China being there. And it's just like a really fun read. So pick this up if you see it. Pick any of the new Superman up. It's a great story. So it's solid 9 out of 10. This whole run's great. All right, next up we got Avengers of the Wastelands. Minor spoilers for Dead Man Logan. So Old Man Logan dies at the end of Dead Man Logan. And Danielle Cage, who is the daughter of Luke Cage and Jessica Jones, picks up Thor's hammer and becomes the new Thor. Wow. In this one, you've got the Avengers of the Wasteland, which are the Ant-Man from the Wasteland, Luke Cage's daughter as Thor, new Captain America, who you learn about, Vision, and Hulk Jr., who was the Hulk baby that Logan rescued in the first Old Man Logan story arc. Well, they have to assemble to take down Doctor Doom, who's going to every single territory in the Wasteland and killing people. So, like, he'll go to the Hydra one, kill all of Hydra and kill the leader. And he's just doing that. And you don't know why till the end. And if you liked Old Man Logan, you're going to like this. If you didn't like Old Man Logan, then why are you reading Avengers of the Wasteland? It makes no sense. But this is still a solid book. I give it a solid 8 out of 10. Avengers of the Wasteland is good. Pick it up if you see it. All right, next up we got Young Avengers. Style, substance. It's supposed to say style over substance. They forgot to put over. They just put the little, greater than logo, whatever. All right, so this Young Avengers is Hulkling, America Chavez, Nova, Marvel Boy, Wiccan, Kate Bishop, Kid Loki. Yeah, it's a great team. And it starts off, Kid Loki is talking to America Chavez and goes, let's kill Wiccan. America Chavez just gets out of there. She's not going to go kill Wiccan. Why would she do? No. So then Hulkling's complaining. He's like, yeah, your parents are cool and all, but my mom's dead. So Wiccan pulls his mom from an alternate dimension out, but the mom is actually a parasite that's feeding off of the Young Avengers' parents and becoming them to attack them. So that's the big villain of this story arc. And it's really good. It's the start of the new Young Avengers run. This was the Marvel Now initiative, I believe. And it's really fun. So if you see this, pick it up. If you're a fan of, the younger teams like the Champions, Young Avengers, Young Justice, it signifies these teams perfectly. So I give this one a solid 8 out of 10. It's all good except America Chavez. Oh, she's okay in that story, Hello. All right. Next up, we got Swamp Thing Volume 5, The Killing Field. So this one is, there's this new guy in town. They're calling him Cedar, I believe. Cedar or Seedling. And he is the one that saved Alec Holland when he was going to die before he became Swamp Thing. Well, they fight, and only one can be the true member of the Green. They're the true avatar of the Green. So it's either going to be Alec Holland or the new guy. Then you could see the Council of Trees are not in their tree form, but what they look like as avatars of the Green. So you got I don't remember if it's a samurai, but there may be a samurai, a T-Rex, I think an Egyptian lady, and they all just look really cool. Animal Man gets involved at one point. It's just a fun story if you like Swamp Thing, and you like the whole green mythos and the red. The green is all plant life, the red is all animal life, so if you like, that mythos, pick this up. Expand on what Alan Moore did. Alan Moore wrote Swamp Thing really well, so I give this solid 7 out of 10. If you haven't read the previous ones, you're not really going to understand what's going on. All right. Next up, we got two of the same run, but different names. So we're just going to start with Deadpool. Deadpool versus S.H.I.E.L.D. In this one, Deadpool is waging war on S.H.I.E.L.D. because he didn't get paid for killing the presidents in the first volume of this run. This leads into Jerry Dugan's run, so if you ever want to read Dugan's run, you got to read this one first, And it turns out one of the S.H.I.E.L.D. members is evil, and he's actually helping Ultimatum. Everyone's favorite, Ultimatum, woo! So, of course, madness ensues there. Preston is still in Deadpool's head at this point, and this actually takes her out and puts her into the robot body. I mean, not big a surprise if you've read any of the other Deadpool ones, you know about that. So if you like Deadpool, this one's a little more on the bland side. Crossbones gets involved, and that's a big fight there, so, it's pretty fun with Crossbones. Besides that, I give it a 6 out of 10. I mean, not too great, but Jerry Dugan's run's good, so if you want to read that. Speaking of Jerry Dugan's run, we got Deadpool, World's Greatest, Patience Zero. This one, if you can't tell, involves Madcap. If you don't know who Madcap is, he is a guy that had chemicals spilled on him. He went crazy. He tried to die. He couldn't. He's immortal, so he's like Deadpool, but he's even crazier. If you ever wondered why Deadpool is crazy, it's because Madcap was in his head at one point, and that was the whole big thing. But so, this is Madcap's revenge on Deadpool for being in his head and going crazy. So, it starts with, Deadpool robbing a jewelry store with Hydra Bob, the classic. And it's not like Deadpool Max where Hydra Bob's the main character, thank God. So they give some of the stuff to a homeless guy. Then Deadpool's talking to Preston, just casually chatting. Preston says, "Don't come over to see your daughter." Why? Don't know. Just bad influence on her. Well, Deadpool gets a message to come over, and he thinks it's from Ellie. He gets a call. Turns out there's something on his suit that is killing any humans that come in contact with it. So he looks inside, and Ellie is choking up and dying, and the rest of Preston's family as well, but Preston isn't because she's a robot. Wow. Then it just keeps escalating from there. It turns out Madcap is actually attaching himself to people through so it's like a hole in their stomach, and he just gets in there. So that's what you can see from this cover is he's on someone's stomach. So anyone that's put on a few extra pounds, then they may be Madcap. So it's a big whodunit. So I give this one a solid 9 out of 10. The Madcap story is really good in here. Oh, and it also ends with the Deadpool 2099. You love Deadpool 2099. Everyone loves Deadpool 2099. All right. Next up, we got the run that followed Jerry Dugan's run. We got two of these. We got Deadpool by Scotty Young, Goodnight. So, at first I thought this was just a short story series because I read it and it was okay, first story, what happens? Oh, it's Christmas. Deadpool's going to kill Santa. All right. Next story, what happens? Deadpool's hired to kill, what is it? It's like a seal and a pig. They're amusement park people, and they're a war. It's weird. Turns out the pig's smuggling drugs. Ellie gets involved, Deadpool's daughter, who at this point he had taken serum to forget about. Yeah. Next story is Deadpool gets his heart ripped out by someone. He wakes up and it's just, his heart's not there, so Jessica Jones gets involved. They look for the heart. Then finally, from 10, 11, and 12, that's all one story, and it's following Goodnight. And Goodnight is this pseudo-villain for Deadpool, pseudo-hero for Deadpool's villainy. And essentially what he's doing is every time Deadpool has a job where he's I gotta kill the Hand. Well, Goodnight's coming and he's stopping it first before Deadpool can do it. So he's kind of like messing with what Deadpool does. So Deadpool doesn't like that. And you learn Goodnight's backstory in here. And let me say, Weasel is getting involved. Like the one where Deadpool gets his heart ripped out. Weasel is involved in that somehow. and Weasel's like working for someone that you don't know of until the next volume. So this is a good setup mystery that gets resolved well in the next volume. So I give this one a solid 9 out of 10. Scotty Young really knocked out of the park. I love Scotty Young as a writer more than I like him as an artist. He's so good at writing. So 9 out of 10. All right, speaking of, Deadpool, Scotty Young, Volume 3, Weasel Goes to Hell. Can you guess who Weasel's working for yet? Oh, Mephisto, good job. So Weasel's working for Mephisto. But the reason why will shock you. So this is split into 2 stories, or 3 technically. There's 3 stories. 3 stories. So first one is Deadpool goes to Australia to fight the trolls for War of the Realms. You know, War of the Realms, big tie-in event. Meh. I wasn't too huge a fan on it. It was okay. Next one's the Weasel, Hell, Mephisto, Deadpool being recruited thing. Goodnight's working for Weasel. You know, if you couldn't tell already. So Mephisto wants to recruit Deadpool, of course. So to find out why, read this. And finally, it ends with an annual from the Acts of Vengeance event that Marvel did a few years ago, like a year or 2 ago. I don't remember. But it's Deadpool versus Nightmare. Because little kid writes in, he's like, "Hey, Deadpool, I'm having these bad nightmares. Can you help?" So Deadpool's going to kill Nightmare. That story's really funny, especially at the end. Ending's great. It's a good payoff for what the previous one did, so I give it a solid 8 out of 10. Kind of stands weakly on its own. The War of the Realms is really not that great. But the Weasel one and the Acts of Vengeance story. So a third of it wasn't great, but the rest was. Yeah. All right, next up we got World of M featuring Wolverine. So this isn't just Wolverine. It's actually like 4 stories in one. So of course you got the Wolverine one, where you learn about Wolverine's backstory in the House of M universe, and what Mystique's doing with Wolverine, blah, blah, blah. Then you got Black Panther number 7, which is Black Panther, what he's doing in this universe. And he's still ruling Wakanda. He has Storm as his, not wife, but kind of wife, and it's a weird. Then you got The Pulse number 10, and The Pulse was, I don't remember what The Pulse was. I think it was just like a newspaper story kind of thing in the Marvel Universe. Well, The Pulse number 10 involves Hawkeye talking to a reporter about how he was killed. He was brought back in the House of M universe because Wanda killed him at first in, what's that story? Not Avengers Endgame. Crap. Disassembled. Avengers Disassembled. Hawkeye dies in that, along with a bunch of the other Avengers. So she brings Hawkeye back, and Hawkeye's mad. And Captain America number 10. Essentially what happened in the House of M universe is Captain America wasn't frozen. He lived his life as he wanted to. He just became a normal person with super soldier serum in him. You know, like half of the Marvel Universe at this point. So, yeah, that's essentially what this story is. It's 4 different stories from the House of M universe. House of M is one of my favorite crossover events. It's right up there with like Absolute Carnage, Maximum Carnage, and King in Black. It's one of my favorites. So this was a really good tie-in to that. If you don't know what the main House of M is, go read House of M. I mean, that's been reprinted, so it's not too expensive to find the trade anymore. So you can find it for like MSRP, you know. So pick it up and read it. It's really good. So this one, if you've read the main House of M, 9 out of 10. If you haven't, read House of M, then read it. It's still 9 out of 10. All right. Next up, we got the one that first got me into comics in the first place, Carnage USA. This one, I love it. Carnage infects a small town of people and essentially is the ruling overlord of that place, and everyone's infected with the Carnage symbiote, and he's controlling them. So they send in a special task force, which is Cap, Wolverine, Spider-Man, Thing. I think Hawkeye's there as well? Yeah, Hawkeye's there. So they get sent in, they get essentially disassembled and like start fighting, and chaos ensues from there, and it's just a perfect demonstration of what Carnage can do if given the time and power he needs. He can just wreak havoc across a place of just absolute decimation, destruction. It's so good. So that's why this was what got me into comics. why I still love comics is because they can live up to stuff like this. This is a 10 out of 10. If you see Carnage USA, pick it up. It's so good. All right. Next, the last two came out of the same series, but we're still going to do it one at a time. We got Supersons, Volume 2, Planet of the Capes. So this one's kind of split into two stories, but they have an overarching plot, you know. And then there's obviously a backup story at the end where, is this the one where they get the thing? Yeah, it is. Okay. So, Planet of the Capes is Superboy teams up with the Teen Titans, which you read the first Super Sons. You know that Robin said that he's never going to do that, so, you know, didn't really work out. Teams up with the Teen Titans. He fights like 3 lesser-known villains, and then he fights this one guy who's like making stuff out of clay. It's not Clayface, but the clay's from an alternate dimension where it brings them to life, and then they defeat that guy. And then they get sucked into the alternate dimension. And there's like this giant head thing. It's like a planet eater that wants to eat the clay. He's like Yagardrasil. It's a weird name. So he's trying to eat like the planet, but there's still survivors there that are heroes. And the guy with the clay somehow came over, and it's real confusing. It's good. It's a good story. I mean, yeah, it's Super Sons. Super Sons was written perfectly. But after you get past that, you get to the one where they get a secret hideout. So you learn about that, which is pretty cool. It's an underwater base. So, yeah, that's about essentially what's in here. And it's the first part was good with him teaming up with Teen Titans. Then that second part with the World Eater thing, that was a little meh. But the secret hideout's pretty cool. So I give this one a solid like 7 out of 10. If the World Eater thing wasn't in there, it'd probably be better. All right. Last up, we got Super Sons Parent Trap. So if you look on the back, you can see Talia al Ghul holding Damian Wayne Robin and Superboy John Kent. If you don't know, Damian Wayne is the son of Batman and Talia al Ghul. So this one involves, I think, 3 stories, if I'm not mistaken. No, just two. So the first one is obviously Talia hunting down Damian because she wants to recruit him again. And Damian goes to a normal school along with Jonathan. So, you know, that's something. And she has a hit on Lois Lane, Jonathan's mom. So that's a big thing. It's a fun story, of course. You know, the Super Sons are pretty cool. They're one of my favorite duos. It's better than Batman and Superman. Fight me on it. Then the second story, and if I'm not mistaken, this is the like final Super Sons before like, you know, Challenge of the Super Sons and all the other spin-offs. This is the final main core Super Sons, and it involves the return of Kid Amazo, the first major villain the Super Sons fought, who was a kid that was infected with the Amazo virus that could control technology. Yeah. So he's here, and he has the Justice League in prison, so, you know, like Batman, Superman, Aquaman, Wonder Woman, not Cyborg, though. I think Green Lantern, maybe Green Lantern. So they fight Kid Amazo, and it cuts forward into the future, and it has, like, a grandpa. It's kind of ambiguous if the grandpa is either Damien or John, but he's like telling kids the story, and the kids are the grandkids of the grandpa. So you don't know. It's kind of weird. And they mention like the Justice Legion, which is like 60 people on a Justice League. I don't know if that's actually a plan of the writer or if he's just making a joke. Probably just making a joke, but yeah. Super Sons, great series. Read all of them if you can. If not, just pick up number 1, of course. If you can't find that, pick up number 2 or something. So this one is solid, 9 out of 10. Any of Super Sons. All right. So that's it for this week. If you want to see a figure review, of course, stick around. If not, bye. See you later. Like, subscribe, comment. All right. So this is Batman Beyond, Terry McGinnis from the DC Multiverse line. He's got like, rocket boosters. If you notice, this is a different stand than usual. That's because it actually came with the stand for once. Thank you. These are about $20, not too bad. I mean, it's a high quality figure. He comes with 2 different hands, one for, each hand. He comes with one that's like kind of clawed. He comes with one that could hold something. He comes with 1 Batarang, which I don't really like that he only comes with 1. I wish he came with more. But beggars can't be choosers. I mean, it's a lot of detail and articulation for $20. But then if you turn him around, you can see his wings actually can like extend and go up higher. And he has little notches on his arms that connect into the wings, so you can lock it in there. Because if you ever watch the show, he holds his wings out to kind of glide. But he has rocket boosters, so that's why these are here. And this is a really high quality figure for $20. I give it like a solid, 11 out of 10. If you just pick up any of these. These are really good quality. They come with stands. They come with cards telling you about the character. I mean, like, the DC Multiverse line is amazingly high quality. So yeah, if you see any of these that you're interested in, you're not going to pick up Wonder Woman if you don't like her just because I told you pick up a DC Multiverse figure. If you see one that you like, pick it up. If not, that's completely fine. If you don't enjoy DC, that's fine. You have your opinion. You're entitled to it. Besides that, that was What is Cyrus reading this week? I'll see you next week. Bye.